fucking bright. That's not what I wanted, actually. Did want YouTube brought up, but... Bruh. Let's get Streamlabs open as well. Later. All right. There's that. I have it open. All right. Hopefully we're good now. So, I don't want to hear myself on that. So, break this down. Like quarterbacks to start. So, kind of in the same boat. Kind of in the same boat for cash. Where now Burrow is, I think, the highest projected quarterback as far as ownership. But I don't think it should be crazy still. I think the ownership should be balanced out as far as quarterback. Running back, it seems like CMC still going to be like the top guy. I think other than that, there's a lot of mixed ownership because Achane, Chase Brown, James Conner are all kind of within price range of each other. And then obviously you have someone like ETN down there. I mean, I think most of these running backs, besides JT, are playable in cash. Achane, Brown, Connor, Cook, Williams, Breece Hall. All those guys are playable in cash this week. And then ETN, if you want the pay down, ETN's fine. I'm fine with, paying down at that. Wide receiver, I mean, you could go either way if you're playing Joe Burrow. You could pay up for Jamar Chase. If you wanted to pay down at T. Higgins, 2,000 more instead of Chase, it's a little more easy to then get Brian Thomas Jr. on the run back for that. So if you wanted to go that route, it's easily possible now. But other than that, like Higgins, Chase, Puka, if you want to go the Puka route, still skeptical on Tennessee's secondary. I feel like they have a good secondary, which worries me if you play Puka, but obviously if you play Puka, it gets you off Chase. And then, I'm not on the Hollywood Brown hype as much this week for cash. Like, if he goes off again, he does. But I'm a little more skeptical of it just because last week it just turned into Hollywood Brown being forced. He was the most reliable guy. Tyquan Thornton had some... I mean, if Tyquan Thornton got the ball thrown to him accurately deep downfield, Tyquan Thornton would have been like the number one receiver for Kansas City last week because I'm pretty sure it was 2 times Mahomes overthrew him, which is pretty hard to do. But yeah, Hollywood Brown, I'm not there as far as ownership. Calvin Ridley is there if you want to pivot off of Tony Pollard. I think that's viable this week. But other than that, for cash, there's There's not a lot. I think cash is pretty split even. And then tight end is pretty simple. It's go Trey McBride if you can afford it somehow. It's tougher on this slate, but Trey McBride at 6K, and then you get a variety of options of Hunter Henry at 4K. If you want to go the Juwan Johnson route, 3,600. I'm not going that route. Bretton Strange at 3,600. I know Fannin Jr., a lot of people are on Fannin Jr. I think it might be a good spot to kind of go away from him, but he's 3,100, so like he doesn't kill your lineup if he does bad, so that doesn't hurt you as much. Tongas is there at 3,200. I think he's a really good play. And then Calcaterra. So right now what I'm kind of looking at as far as differential in cash, some of these plays, I think JSN's in a really, really good spot again. Obviously, his target share was ridiculous last week against the 49ers. Now he's playing the Steelers where Joey Porter's out. Their safety's out, so at 6K, I think JSN's a really good play. Marvin Harrison's still a solid play, even though it's a tougher matchup. George Pickens is in a really good spot. I think Devontae Smith is very, very cheap. It's the same thing with Khalil Shakir. So both those guys are really, really good plays in my opinion. Jerry Jeudy's playable at 53. Even though Juwan Jennings is back, I still think Ricky Pearsall at 5,300 is in a really, really solid spot. So some guys to go higher than Hollywood Brown if you want to look at some options to pay below. Stephon Diggs at 5K, I think is very easily playable this week. Roma Dunze, I think, is in a really good spot against Detroit. Calvin Austin at 4,700, I think he's in a really good spot as well. I think the focus is yet again going to be on DK Metcalf. Witherspoon's out. That's a huge blow to them. So maybe we see Calvin Austin get some more love this week. Kayshon Boutte at 4,500, he's a really good play. You can go Demario Douglas at 4,300. Other than that, like cheap, there's not a lot. There's honestly not a lot of punt options. The KC side is one you could say. Tyquan Thornton is 36. Juju Smith is 4K. Like down here, there's truly not a lot of value. Like there's no one that really stands out down here. So there's not much interest down there at cheap wide receiver plays. Running back, you do, in my opinion, there's some value plays at running back. Jalen Warren at 5,400, David Montgomery at 5,400. Both those guys are in really good spots. Tyrone Tracy could be sneaky at 5,300 against Dallas. Like, Dallas still doesn't have a good defense. I think they played above what they did against Philly, but also you're betting on the Giants offense to be efficient. So I think Tyrone Tracy's in a good spot. Zach Charbonnet got announced captain, which is wild. So, I mean, that could be interesting at 5,100 against Pittsburgh. Although, I can't see Seattle having the same success that the Jets had. So that's concerning. And then I mentioned on my video, but Trey Benson at 4,600. I think he's worth taking a shot on against Carolina. I like James Conner's in a really good spot. But at the same time, like Trey Benson at 4,600 for a guy that could possibly get you, 11 or 12 points on this slate. It's really not the worst play in the world. Granted, the ceiling's going to be hard. Like James Conner has to get injured for that to truly be good, but I think it definitely is worth mentioning. And then quarterback, like it's Lamar, Burrow, Mac Jones. Like those are my four quarterbacks in my pool. But I will say that Bo Nix is in a really good spot. Indy's missing missing two corners and Latu, their edge. So those are three huge blows to Indy's defense. Jared Goff at home in a dome against Chicago. Kyler Gordon out in that one, so Amon-Ra's in a really, really good spot. So I like that. Dak against the Giants, I think it's a really good opportunity for Dak at home. Fields has a lot of ownership at 5,700, and rightfully so. Ed Oliver's out. That's a huge blow for Buffalo's defensive line. Lamar and Derrick Henry kind of torched Buffalo's defense. Now you get Fields Fields and Hall, who just absolutely murdered Pittsburgh's defense. So they're really good plays as well. I do think Caleb Williams is worth mentioning at 5,400 against Detroit. It's just his price. Like, he's one of the cheaper quarterbacks on the slate with the upside of 20 plus points. He definitely has that upside. Another division game, which is tough, but I think he's in a really good, healthy spot. Joe Flacco at 5K, they should be running the ball. Baltimore, that is. So Cleveland on the other side should be passing. So I think Flacco at 5K is definitely worth a shout. And that's it for quarterback. Like I already mentioned, Mac Jones. You can go, like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm going to put Mac Jones, and then I'm going to put CMC because obviously. But we put those two together. Let's pick a defense. Let's go the Rams, right? Let's go Rams. 31. So that leaves us 5,900 already. That's kind of crazy for having a 7,500 player. Let's get like really, really interesting. We'll throw ETN in there as well. Let's put him in. Wide receiver. I mean, we could pretty much go anywhere. So let's go Amon-Ra at that. Tight end. Let's get, like, I want the upside if I'm paying down for Mac Jones. So let's get Trey McBride in there. At the wide receiver, since we have him, I think it's fair to throw Ricky Pearsall in there. We don't have to, but I think it's fair to do something like that. And then we're left with 5,700 average. So let's say JSN, and then 54 at flex. And there's a couple plays down here. So let's say Waddle? I think we can go Waddle. No, let's go Warren. And then do that stack. So you have 38% of Keon Coleman. So Keon Coleman, like, Jets run man coverage a lot. And Keon Coleman is better than Shakir versus man. But the difficult thing with it is he's going to face a good amount of Sauce Gardner, which is concerning. Versus Shakir will be seeing Michael Carter. And Michael Carter's just, he's not a good corner. So that's my concern with the Buffalo wide receivers. Also, I think, James Cook's in a really good spot. But that is my concern with Keon Coleman, is he's going to see a good amount of Sauce Gardner because Coleman goes on the outsides. Shakir is pretty much the slot guy for him. So that would be my concern with Coleman. But I think for the price of Keon Coleman, 5,100, it's not bad. Especially if you're getting away from Hollywood Brown, who's $100 more expensive. It's not bad then. It's not bad if that's the leverage play you're trying to go for. So I don't hate it. It's just, it's really, really tough. It's a tougher matchup versus Sauce Gardner versus last week was Humphreys, maybe Wiggins. So it's just something to consider there. But yeah, that's an example lineup, and that's just going Mac Jones. Let's do one with Lamar and see what we could turn that into. So probably going to have to go cheaper than McCaffrey on this one. So let's throw Chase Brown in there. Let's throw Kyron in there. We'll go to wide receivers. So I want a run back piece then, and I want Jerry Jeudy in the lineup. We're kind of cheaper, so let's see. Let's go with... How can we be different on this one? Let's go Patriots against Miami. Let's just be different there. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Hollywood Brown. I'm on AJ Brown. I like AJ Brown today. Devontae Smith's in a really good spot as well, but I like AJ Brown for a really good bounce back opportunity against the Chiefs. Like, I think if you get targeted one time and you're a superstar like AJ Brown, you're probably going to be compensated the next game, especially with the Chiefs being a better run defense. Hollywood Brown, for cash, it makes sense. Like, he's going to be very highly owned just because he got a lot of targets. He has a tougher matchup this week. Like, that's my concern. He played the Chargers, and he had a good matchup. And I like Hollywood Brown, so it hurts for me to just try to down talk Hollywood Brown. But I think he's just going to be overplayed just because of the 16, like the target share that he got against the Chargers. Like, I don't personally think, especially in tournaments, if we're cash, Hollywood Brown's fine in cash. In tournaments, I'd probably be lower on Hollywood Brown. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, I mean, this is crazy of how cheap Jalen Hurts truly is. Like, how cheap these quarterbacks are. Like, that's what's really, really good about this slate, is how cheap these superstar quarterbacks are. Because they shouldn't be this cheap. But that's what makes this week good, in my opinion, is we shouldn't see a high ownership in quarterback this week. Like, I think Lamar's in a good spot. Josh Allen's in a good spot. Hurts is in a good spot. Burrow's in a good spot. Fields obviously in a good spot. May in a good spot. And then you get a Stone Min quarterback. Like, this week is really, really good as far as pricing and ownership. Last week was too. But the thing that sucked about last week is every game was under. So if you didn't have, like, Emeka Ibuka, like I did, and screwed that up. But if you didn't have, like, Bijan, if you didn't have CMC, I don't even know for tight end. But, like, the ownership wasn't ridiculous last week. So it shouldn't be this week. Like, CMC is obviously going to be highly owned. Hollywood Brown's obviously going to be highly owned. Other than that, I think the ownership should be pretty spread out. Let's finish kind of doing this lineup. Let's see what we could do. So let's throw AJ Brown in this one. I'm fine with doing that. And then we're going to pay down at tight end. And let's go for a Hunter Henry. And we get 5,600 left. Let's throw Shakir in there at 5,500. And then we get 57 for a flex. So we could go in ETN. Oh, we got to throw... What am I doing? Hold on. Sorry. I totally tweaked. We got to throw Zay in there. So we're left with 5,000. And then we could throw... I don't want to play Diggs and Hunter Henry, so let's find someone else. Let's just say Rome for the sake of the video, or the sake of the lineup. So something like that, and then we can change defense, obviously, but something like that isn't bad. So we get Zay, Lamar, run back with Jerry Jeudy, AJ Brown against Kansas City, Rome against Detroit, Hunter Henry against Miami. So the key pieces of where I'm looking at, there's offenses that I truly want to have ownership in, and that's, I want to have a New England player. Is the game just, like, going by? Yeah, the game, I don't know why, but that's the New England game. That's what I was looking for. So, New England, Miami. I want to have exposure to New England, Miami. Travis Hunter statement game. I like Travis Hunter to get a touchdown. I think they're going to utilize him differently this week. But it does concern me that they said they're going to play him a little more at corner. So I don't know if that means they're going to go away from him a little offensively. But I like him for a touchdown today. I truly do. So I want to have exposure in the Jacksonville-Cincinnati game. It's got the highest total. It's a very clean slate as far as defenses and offenses. Like, Jacksonville has that upside. Cincinnati definitely has the upside. I really like Cincinnati today. I'm okay with getting Dallas ownership. I think Dallas is in a really good spot. It does concern me, the defensive line situation. Definitely San Fran. I want some type of exposure in San Fran, whether that be Mac Jones, whether that be CMC, whether that be Ricky Pearsall, whether that be Tungas. I want, like, some type of ownership on that San Francisco side. If you want to get ownership in the Buffalo Jets game, definitely. I'm understandable about that. That's a division game. It's got a very high total as well. I think if you want a safer play in cash, going Lamar or Derrick Henry in cash is fine. I can't see a scenario where one of the two doesn't score over 20 fantasy points easily on this one. Obviously, with Derrick Henry's price, you're paying a premium versus, Lamar is 7,000, so you're paying 1,200 more for Derrick Henry. But I think they're really good spots. Detroit, Chicago, I'm higher ownership than most, I believe, on Detroit, Chicago. I just see this game being a back and forth. I won't say back and forth. Detroit should be efficient, and if Chicago can get things going, this should be a nice game. I don't want to say back and forth, but it should be a good one. Pittsburgh, Seattle. I'm on the Pittsburgh side. They're at home against Seattle. Seattle's dealing with some injuries. Pittsburgh's also dealing with some injuries. I would prefer Pittsburgh's defense against Seattle's offense than the other way around. So, and then the Rams. I want to get exposure to the Rams offense, whether that be Puka or whether that be Kyren. I guess Devontae, but I would either want Puka or Kyren in this one. Getting Arizona, I don't think is a lock of needing it, but they're in a really good game script against Carolina. And then these two games, Denver, Indy, Philly, KC, I'm fine with not getting ownership or exposure in those games. Denver and Indy could be ugly. If Bo Nix doesn't look good, that one could be ugly. But the way that Indy's they have three key injuries to their defense, it's pretty hard to overcome that. It's still possible. They're home. And then Philly, KC, it's a Super Bowl rematch. This game just seems really, really tough to judge. And I don't think it's really worth going for Saquon, who's more expensive than CMC on this slate. But to leverage that, Hurts is cheaper than Lamar, so you can leverage that and go Lamar go Hurts over Lamar. So that's also possible on this slate. So other than that, that's pretty much it for what I got today. If anyone has any questions or any games, any players you want to know about, definitely ask. We can talk about it and go into it and just get my opinions, your opinions, and go from there. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at in this slate so far today. Fields. So Fields against Buffalo. Jamar versus CD. So Fields against Buffalo, I think yet again, Fields upside. The thing is with Fields, he has that upside. He did really, really good passing again against Pittsburgh's defense. He has a better match. In my opinion, he's got a better matchup this week against Buffalo's defense. But this is a division game. Division games always scare me because they have that chance to go under, and it's just a run fest between Breece Hall and James Cook in this one. But with Ed Oliver out, Buffalo's defense kind of doesn't look good. I think Fields is in a really good spot, especially compared to some of the other quarterbacks. He's definitely a good leverage play there. Favorite GPP quarterback stack? My partner Ghost. This is his, and I really love it as well. But going the Dak CD is definitely a leverage play over Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. So if you want to get different and Joe Burrow is going to have more ownership, Jamar Chase is going to have more ownership. If you want to leverage that off, I think Dak CD is in a really good spot against the Giants. So Jamar versus CD, honestly, it worries me. It worries me of how good Chase Brown could be in this one for the Bengals. I'm on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Will I be pissed off if I see Chase Brown score 2 touchdowns? Probably. If they funnel the red zone scoring through Chase Brown and Joe Burrow throws for 250 and a touchdown in this one, I'm probably going to be a little pissed off. And then, Chase Brown essentially outscores Burrow. I'm screwed in that aspect. I'm screwed if Chase Brown outscores Joe Burrow. But for the wide receivers, Like, it's so damn close. Like, Pickens, I think this game could fit Pickens better than Lamb as far as, like, value. Like, CD should still outscore Pickens, but I could see a scenario where, like, Pickens, value-wise, gets you more for your dollar in this one, if that makes sense. So, like, CD can get you 25, 26, but I could see Pickens getting, like, 20 points, 21 points in this one. I think it's a good game for Pickens. I don't think there's anyone on the Giants side that really is able to compete with Pickens as far as, like, the contested catch. So I do like that one, especially at first price point. But the thing about Pickens, which is tough, is you have Devontae Smith at 5,600, and Devontae Smith looks really, really, really good against Kansas City. And then Shakir looks really good at 5,500 against the Jets. So, like, that's what's tough, is I like Shakir, I like Smith. I'm okay with Pickens. I think Pickens' ownership is going to be lower. That's where he gets the advantage. And it is tough based off the price points there. Here's another one that I like that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, and it's expensive. It's an expensive one, but, like, this, I like this. I like Jared Goff, Amon-Ra. Like, Kyler Gordon's out. Jared Goff's at home in a dome where he has success. Amon-Ra, it does concern me because of how good Detroit's running game could be. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery combined last year had some really, really good games against the Bears. So, yeah, it does concern me that Detroit's run game could be really good in this one. But I think Amon-Ra's in a really, really good spot against the Bears. So I like Jared Goff, Amon-Ra. I think that one's a good, underrated GPP stack. Like, Caleb Williams, too. Like, if you want to talk about cheap, like, Drake Mace, this is crazy. This is crazy, too. Like, that's crazy. I like that. Like, Drake May, Diggs, Boutte, Hill. I think if you want to play Drake May this week, I think it's to benefit you to play two of his pass catchers for sure. Like, they're so cheap. Like, even Hunter Henry is 4K. So, like, throwing Diggs, Henry, Diggs, Boutte, Boutte, Henry, even DeMario Douglas. Like, New England's in a really good spot. And I want to have exposure with that New England offense in this game against Miami. I think that's just going to be a theme for me pretty much all DFS season, is I want exposure to New England's offense against Miami's or any offense against Miami's defense this season. Like, that's just going to be my go-to. It's going to be pretty hard for me week in and week out to see Miami's secondary and see their defense and just go, I don't want to play someone against that. So one of the names I didn't mention at tight end. So I like Chig Okonkwo. If this man can get targets, if Chig can get some targets, and I'm not talking 10 targets, but if Chig can get like 7 or 8 targets, he could be in such a good spot for DFS for just being a nice value play at tight end. I think it should be a really good week for cheap tight ends this week too. Like, you have Okonkwo, you have Tongas, you have Fannin Jr. You keep going cheaper, and then Calcaterra at 20. Like, we have 2 Stone Min players this week, like Calcaterra for tight end at 2,500 and Mac Jones 4,000 for quarterback. So we have 2 Stone Min plays this week. Tournaments is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what, like, the Millie Maker lineup is that takes it down, and see, like, what value plays essentially end up cashing that. Like, it's also crazy to me, like, DraftKings has Farrell priced higher than Tongas, when, like, Farrell's going to see more snaps, like snaps, not targets, but snaps. But Tongas should definitely get more targets in this one. Patriots D. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the Patriots D line is good. That's the one thing I will give them. Their defensive line, their linebackers are really good. Yet again, it's a division game. Like teams just play, I guess, more competitive in division games than they do non. Yes, I think if Miami ends up coming out on this one, especially defensively, it's going to be their D-line because their defensive backs are just horrid. Like, very, very bad. But Drake May is just cheap. Drake May is going to be one of those quarterbacks. He should be one of the quarterbacks all DFS season that's a sub 6K quarterback that's probably playable most weeks just because he's going to be that cheap. And he's going to have games where he does not hit. He's going to have games under 10 DraftKings points. And then he's going to have games where he gets, 15 plus. And he hits that value consistently. Like, if he gets above 6K this season, I don't think he's then playable. But he should definitely be a quarterback that is sub 6K probably all season. But yeah, Drake May, Flacco, Caleb, like these guys are definitely playable as far as values for quarterbacks. So, but yeah, if no one else has anything, like I'm still down to keep this going until kickoff. If no one has anything, I mean, I'll let you guys get to your DFS lines, your fantasy lines, your betting, and all that stuff. So, if anyone has any more questions, feel free to ask. I'm down to keep going. But also know people are trying to get their lineups in last minute too. So I'm pretty set on my lineups. I have my lineups input. It was nice actually. It was nice actually doing my lineups, not worrying about injuries. Like that's the thing, especially late games. Like that's the thing. Like there's nobody slate breaking to kind of worry about injury wise. So very low owned lineup wild card. I'll give you one. Let's do this. So a low owned one. Let's get a little freaky. I'm gonna go. Go Patriots against Miami. So we'll go back to wide receiver. Give me Cortland Sutton in that game as well. Obviously, if I'm playing Williams, I want Rome. Tight end. We'll go Kincaid. And then we got 5,500 to play around with. And we can get someone like a Tet. So this should be low owned. No one's playing Caleb Williams. Kyron Williams looks like one of the lower owned for those running backs. Derrick Henry obviously is going to be lower owned just because CMC's on this slate. No one's playing Amon-Ra. No one's really playing Sutton. Odunze's definitely not played. Kincaid's definitely not played. Tet's on FanDuel. Tet's played. On FanDuel, Tet is played. On DraftKings, he's not as, but he's just super cheap on FanDuel. And then Patriots defense, so just getting different there. So, yeah. Also, Cam Ward, went down $100. And he's got the Rams again. I feel so bad for this man. I just want to see what could be Cam Ward. And, facing Denver and then facing the Rams back-to-back to start the season is brutal. That is a brutal one. And they're missing now a offensive lineman. So, that is just tough for Cam Ward to start the season. But yeah, other than that, guys, I guess we'll just end it here. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. I thought this was a pretty good stream. Yet again, I want to live stream every Sunday. Just that way, any questions are kind of just ask where I'm at. And here's the thing, you could totally take what I say and go the complete opposite way. And I'm okay with that. Like, if you're here just to go, hey, this guy does not know what he's talking about, I'm going the other way, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm obviously not always going to be right. So, but yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone that tuned in. I will try to go live every Sunday before kickoff. So, just to talk about the slate and anyone ask any questions. So, yeah, I'll let you guys go to your lineups, fantasy, betting, all that stuff. Hope everyone has a good DFS Sunday. I hope I get a nice bounce back. So, yep, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the video for tomorrow if you guys tune into that. So, definitely thank you guys for watching.